Hi BookTube! My name is Sarah and welcome to the Bookish Knitter. Today I'm coming to you with my weekly TBR. This is for week number 20 and it is May the 14th through May the 20th. Guys, we're almost halfway through this month. I am filming this the day that you're going to see it, so on the 13th of May, and Monday is the 15th, like halfway through the month. That's craziness. Anyway, so I'm here with my weekly TBR. So for those of you who might be new to the channel, I do these every week. I don't do a monthly TBR like a lot of booktubers do. I used to. Now I much prefer doing a weekly one because I get excited about new books every week. And yeah, so I actually decided to tone this down a little bit because I think I was doing like 7 books a week. I wasn't getting to them all, let's be realistic. But with the fact that I'm also doing this like never-ending Harlequin book project, so I'm going to be reading like an extra book or two every week for that project, I thought that, you know, maybe taking it down to maybe just 5 books on this list would be a lot more manageable. So that's what I have decided to do. So I do 2 TBR shelf picks, and it used to be that I did a physical shelf, one off my physical shelves and one off my digital shelves. I'm just putting it as one thing. If I find the book physically, great. If I find the book digitally, great. Because what was happening is, even if I picked a book physically, I would oftentimes try and find it digitally because I prefer to read books digitally, or on audio if at all possible, especially for commuting to work and things like that. So yeah, so I've got 2 picks for that, but for both of those picks, I did spin my prompt wheel. So I will, of course, share the prompts with you guys. And then I have one for Middle Grade Mayhem, Middle Grade May, which is a event being hosted by Storm over at Storm Reads, Lee from Dark Roots Creations, Elizabeth from Lizzie Faye Loves Books, and Beth from Soul Stained Ink, I think. All 4 of those ladies will be listed or linked in the description box below, so go and follow their channels. And then I have a Harlequin new release, and then a throwback book. So yeah, so 5 books for the week, but I'm going to share them with you and share a little bit about what these are, what books, like what they're about, what the premise of the book is, if you will. I've only had a half a cup of coffee this morning, you guys. I am currently drinking a tea from Tim Hortons though, and I do have 2 other videos that I'm filming after this one, so wish me luck. So the first one from my my TBR shelves, we have the prompt of give an author another chance. And I put this list together on Thursday night after work, which is usually when I do this. It's kind of like my Thursday going into Friday, you know, celebration of putting together my TBR for the next week. And I got this prompt, and the first thing I thought of was the author Robin Carr. Now, it's not that I don't like Robin Carr's writing. I have read her books, and I do enjoy them. What I don't enjoy is the Virgin River series. And I know a lot of people love the Virgin River series, and my first thought was, okay, I'll read the next one in Virgin River and I'll see what I think. So it's not maybe necessarily give the author another chance, but give this series another chance, kind of an idea. So that was my plan. But I'll be honest, friends, I was not terribly excited about it because this series has just gone downhill for me. It's a personal preference, but I find it focuses so much on babies and, you know, if you're getting married, you kind of got to have kids, and, you know, no, not necessarily. I have heard from people it does change as the series goes on, but regardless. So I was set to do it. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I'll grab it on audio. Life will be fine. And then on Friday, so yesterday, I was off work and I was watching some BookTube, and Ollie over at Criminology did a review of this book. And I'm like, okay, the way he talked about it, I'm like, all right, if he read this one and he enjoyed it, I'm like, maybe I should give it another try. So the book is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. So those of you who've been watching my channel for any length of time know that I am not a fan of Colleen Hoover. I am not. I have read 2 of her books. Neither one of them I enjoyed. I read Maybe Someday, and that one I did not enjoy that one, mainly because it deals with cheating. Not necessarily physical cheating, but emotional cheating, which is just as bad in my opinion. And like he's pining, like the entire book is he's pining after some girl. Well, he's got a girlfriend, you bad word person. Like, not impressed. Not a likable character. And then I read Verity. And Verity was Verity. There was a lot that was going on in Verity. That was not the book for me. There's a big divide with that book. Either you really enjoy it or you really do not. And I was in the camp of I really did not. So I had actually started reading Reminders of Him last February. I had started reading it, and I, about 20% of the way through it, decided to DNF it. So I got thinking about it yesterday about the reason why I DNF'd it. It wasn't actually because I wasn't enjoying it, because it wasn't badly written, and I liked the premise of the story. I think that what happened is that, so I read this one coming out of the hospital. So I spent 2.5-ish weeks, February of 2022 in hospital. Various procedures done. I had to have a pacemaker put in. It was a whole thing. And anyway, when I came out of the hospital, so when I was in hospital, I didn't do a lot of reading. I was, my mind was other places. And surprisingly, for that amount of time in the hospital, I didn't get many books read. But I came out of the hospital, I was like, I was feeling a bit better. I'm like, I'm going to get back into reading and blah, blah, blah. And I decided to try this book because it was available on Kindle Unlimited. And I thought, let's give Colleen Hoover another shot. So I had started reading it, but it is not, contrary to the cover, because the cover looks super fluffy and cute and the bright colors. This was a dark story. This is a dark story, which I think is Colleen Hoover's MO. You know what I mean? And I got, like I said, about 20% of the way through it, and I'm like, this is not where I need to be in my mind right now. I just came out of a very mentally and physically draining experience that I needed something light and fluffy. And I ended up picking, a Meg Cabot book, which I loved, called No Words. It was fantastic. Anyway, that's besides the point. So that's why I put this one down. So I thought, let's now, over a year later, in a much better headspace, let's give this one another shot. So I'm giving Colleen Hoover another go. If I don't like this one, I'm wiping my hands clean of Colleen Hoover and just calling it a day. So for those of you who don't know what this book is about, very, very quick little bit here. After serving 5 years in prison for a tragic mistake, Kenna Rowan returns to the town where it all went wrong, hoping to reunite with her 4-year-old daughter. So there is also a romance in here. There is her dealing with the aftermath of this terrible accident, actually trying to get custody back of her daughter. So like I was saying, it's a heavier book, and I don't think this is where I needed to be last year, right after coming out of the hospital. So now, hopefully, because people have raved about this book and they said it's really good. And for some reason, I never returned it on Kindle Unlimited. It was still on my digital shelf, which is why I'm counting it as a TBR book. But I was able to pick up the audio for $1.99. So thank you very much to, Amazon Audible, because if you get one, whatever. Anyway, so I'll probably be listening to this one on audio. It's narrated actually by Brittany Presley and somebody else, but I really like Brittany Presley's narration, so we shall see. Anyway, I have rambled on about that book for far too long. The next prompt on my TBR shelf is read a book with someone in the medical field. Nurses, doctors, what have you. I have a ton of Harlequin medical romance books. This fit so easily. So I actually went on the Harlequin website, logged in, went to my bookshelf, and I typed in nurse. Because I thought, well, let's see what comes up. So I scrolled through the different pages and stuff, and this one jumped out at me. And funny enough, this is not a medical romance. We have Her Kind of Doctor by Stella Bagwell. This is a Harlequin special edition, which you guys know I love the special editions, and I love Stella Bagwell. She is a favorite author of mine. So this is book number, wait for it, 37 in the Men of the West series. So this is not for all those of you who are series readers who are just itching right now when I say I'm going to jump into book 37 without reading the previous 36. Don't panic. So the Men of the West series is very similar to there was a fatherhood series that was run through the Harlequin American Romance line. There was the Count on a Cop series that went through the Super Romance line. Those are not books that you necessarily need to read in any particular order. They are just in this case, these are all books that deal with cowboys or men who live in the West. Hence the series title. Same as the Fatherhood series. It was all books about single dads. The Count on a Cop series, all books about police officers. So it's not like it was they followed the same characters. It just, you knew jumping in that this was going to be a book involving a cop or a single dad, or in this case, somebody living in the West. Cowboy-esque, I believe. So yeah, anyway, I'm excited about this one. I've had it on my shelf for a while, and it says, ER nurse Paige Winters has a knack for working with difficult Dr. Luke Sherman. But when the demanding physician oversteps one too many times, Paige snaps and gives the doctor a dose of his own bitter medicine, then transfers out of the ER. So why is she so miserable, and why can't she stop thinking about handsome Luke? So this book feels really old school to me in a way, in old school Harlequin, because way back, like beginning of Harlequin, 50s, 60s, those romances really did tend to focus on the relationships between doctors and nurses. And I think that part of the reason was because back then, it was different for women. Let's be realistic. Things were not as progressive as they are now. And if you were a woman, you had very few career choices. You could be a nurse, you could be a teacher, you could be a secretary, like there wasn't, a lot of, whereas nurse was a very it was a demanding job. It was, and you had a lot of nurses and, most of them, probably all of them at the time, would have been female, and then you had these physicians. And, Betty Neals wrote these beautifully not beautifully, but really well back in the day. She wrote a ton of these. This was her bread and butter, were these doctor and nurse relationships. So when you find one of these books, like in the medical romance books, you're going to see them a lot. But to see them outside of the medical romance are kind of fun as well. So I am excited about this one. I love, like I said, Stella Bagwell. Cannot wait to read this one. So the next prompt I have here is Middle Grade May for Middle Grade Mayhem. And so this is my event book for the month, if you will. In June, it's going to be June on the Range. So there will be cowboy romances. Yay! But for now, middle grade. So I have really been enjoying the middle grade books I've been reading this month. It's been a lot of fun. And this is one that was not on my list, but for some reason I pre-ordered this book. And then a week or so ago when it came out, it hit my Kindle and I went, oh yeah, I bought that, didn't I? I don't know why, I'll be honest, why I pre-ordered this book. I have read this author before. I've read one book by her and I enjoyed it, but not sure why I jumped ahead and pre-ordered her middle grade book. This is her first foray into middle grade, by the way. And the book is The Firefly Summer by Morgan Matson. So Morgan Matson is very well known for writing YA romances, YA contemporary, if you will. The one that I read by her, and I can't remember the title, is the one about the sister getting married. I think it takes place over a day or so. It was a lot of fun and I liked it a lot. But this is, like I said, her first middle grade book. I really like the cover. And I think it just felt like a great summer book. So this book is, let me just read a little bit about this one for you. The Penderwicks meet the Vanderbeekers of 141st Street, in a story about a young girl who gets to know her mom's side of the family and hunts for hidden treasure over the course of one chaotic summer. I think I'm just in the mood for summer stuff right now, you guys. I can't wait. So no library book, you guys have probably noticed. I still have the stack of them sitting right there. Probably going to take them back to the library. I just find I'm not getting to them, and I just think it'd be more fair for me to take them back so other people can borrow them if that's what they would like to do. If I really want something, I will go pick it up at the library. If I don't have access to it and I want to read it, I can use the library that way. As much as I love going and perusing the library, I have so many things. I need to peruse my personal library. To be realistic, guys, I forgot that I had Reminders of Him still out from Kindle Unlimited. And I forgot about the Stella Bagwell book. So, it's like shopping your own bookshelves in a way, right? So that's what I need to do more instead of going to the library. So anyway, the next one, a Harlequin new release. So even though I'm doing this epic Harlequin project, where I'm reading my way through, everything new over the last number of years, or trying to anyway, I still want to read a new release every month because I want to share those new releases with you guys. So you're not waiting 15 years for me to get to these books. And for this week, we have Expecting Her Enemy's Heir by the great Pippa Roscoe. I do have a copy of this book on my shelves because Pippa, who was a delight, sent it to me. So thank you, Pippa. I can't wait to read this one. And it is book number 2 in a $1 billion revenge series. I have not read the first book yet. I should do that. But anyway, this one. After working undercover at Alessandro Rossi's company for 2 years, Amelia Seymour is still trying to prove that the Italian billionaire stole her birthright. The only thing she has been able to prove is their off-limits attraction, which explodes into life at Alessandro's irresistible touch. I really should put my glasses on when I'm trying to read these things. So this is a accidental pregnancy type book. And I'm looking forward to it. Pippa Roscoe is a delight, not only as a person, but also as a writer. Cannot wait to read this one. And last but not least, my throwback book. I gotta throw one of these in every week. We're going back with Nancy Drew this week, and we have Sisters in Crime by Carolyn Keene, which is book number 19 in the Nancy Drew Files series, which is the series that came out in the 80s. Very quick little explanation on this one. Nancy's holiday at a California college turns into an investigation of a mysterious drowning, and she discovers that some sorority girls are far from innocent. I'm intrigued. So those are my books that I have on the docket for this week, as well as, my Harlequin project books that I will be reading. I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good reading week. I am actually really looking forward to the Colleen Hoover book, surprisingly. And actually, I'm looking forward to all of these books. They sound great. And I'm glad I decided to switch it from the Robin Carr book, because I just wasn't feeling it. And I thought about it afterward. I'm like, I would have ended up DNFing it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad I didn't do that to myself. And let's see if I can get through this Colleen Hoover. And if I can, let's see what I think about it. So anyway, that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment section below. Have any of you read any of these books? No spoilers, please. And until my next video, take care and happy reading. Thanks so much for watching, guys.